Finally, the long awaited James Gunn Superman movie, the movie to usher in the new DCU, is here. Man, it's been such a long couple of years, just the transition from the DCEU to the DCU. And I've been trying to just ignore all the bullshit, the Snyder stuff, even the infighting between James Gunn fans and Snyder fans. It's ridiculous. So finally getting to watch this movie, I wanted to have no distractions this week. I muted everything, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even want to talk about this movie until I saw it for myself. I was like, let me finally see this. And I did something I don't normally do when doing reviews, is watching a movie twice before reviewing it. The first time I watched this movie was in Dolby, and the second time was in IMAX for the fan screening, which that stuff is kind of getting ridiculous, and it's definitely a cash grab, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get people in. They gave us like comic books and stuff and whatnot. That was cool, but yeah, so now that I've seen this movie twice, also, I'll go more in depth, you know what I'm saying, as far as the movie goes, with a panel this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With all that being said, I just want to talk about this movie, man, because I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of positive thoughts, you know what I'm saying, going into this. There's a lot riding on this. There was just a sigh of like relief when, after I got done watching this, or just sitting down in my seat, I was just like, man, I'm finally here. It feels like forever. And it's going to feel the same way when the Batman Part 2 comes out. We're like, damn, we've been waiting for this forever, and now it's finally here. That aside, man, I just was locked in with this movie, man. David Corenswet as Superman, fantastic, bro. Just oozes Superman, oozes Clark Kent in this movie. And I really like the approach of this movie, where we don't give him an origin story. We kind of just throw the audience into the world and we just go from there. And I feel like the method behind James Gunn's madness, what's starting with like Creature Commandos, going into this, and now Peacemaker, I can kind of see the vision a little bit clearer now. We still have to see more movies and shows come out to kind of see the direction that they're going to go in the grander scale of things, but I'm cool with just being in the now with this movie. And man, David Corenswet as Superman in this was incredible. And I like how they break it down in the beginning of the movie, like that superhero's been a thing for like 300 years. And just everything kind of leading up to just kind of giving you the cliff notes of just Superman and just everything that's going on in this world. Establishing that, Lex is already established pretty much. But yeah, I like how we just kind of go right into this, man. Like, Superman has to deal with this conflict between these two countries, and Lex obviously is pulling the strings behind the scenes, even going as far as having this hammer of this country, Boravia. I forget exactly what the country name was. I know I watched it twice, but it's a made-up name. It's not really that important. But the important thing is Superman lost his first fight just early on, and I know a lot of people are going to have some issues on how that was marketed, seeing Superman getting beat up or just being showing vulnerability, which I feel like that's what you need with a Superman movie, because you have a person that is not human, he is superhuman, so you have to make him relatable to humans. But also, don't let that kind of fool you, because David Corenswet's Superman in this, I feel like out of all the live action portrayals, I think this is the strongest Superman by far, just with the amount of feats and different things he was doing in this movie. beating a kaiju's ass while saving people. That's another thing that gets criticized a lot about superhero movies, is that we don't see a lot of heroes actually saving people. And in this, you're seeing Superman like stopping things from colliding with buildings. You're seeing him also use the enemy as weapons and stuff, like the engineer. That's the chick that's with Lex. That's also a character that's supposed to be setting up the Authority, which I don't think we're going to see the Authority anytime soon. That's probably going to be like a 2029 or 2030 film at this point. But we get the introduction of her in this. But like I said, we really get to see Clark in this in a lot of different ways that we've never really seen him. Some things are familiar, like there's definitely a lot of like callbacks to the Christopher Reeve Superman and stuff like that. A lot of callbacks to different iterations of Superman in this movie. But this is really just kind of displaying who Superman is as a character, which last time around, that's the one thing that a lot of people didn't mesh with the DCEU Superman. Even though I like Henry Cavill, but it's just certain things that I wish, imagine if now you had James Gunn directing Henry Cavill, we could have probably gotten those quips, that humorous, very hopeful personality that Superman embodies, and he definitely does that in this. And what I like about this Superman is he's very imperfect. Even when he's having that kind of discussion or that interview, well, a fake interview between him and Lois Lane, and you could definitely tell that he's very frustrated because here he's just trying to do good, and there's this message that was left behind by his parents that he stands by. This is the code he lives by, until certain things kind of blow up during the movie that kind of flips the perspective and makes kind of people look at Superman in a different light. And I like that. I like that not only does Clark have to deal with being this beacon of hope, or this savior type of character, he also has to deal with like his human emotions and people that he cares about, just juggling all these different kind of responsibilities, even taking care of Krypto, getting frustrated with Krypto because Krypto is still like pretty much like a puppy at this point, and it shows. But like I said, like these characters are fairly new. Some been around longer than others. Like Superman has only been Superman for 3 years, so over the course of these movies or this universe, we're going to definitely see the growth of this character. But what I like about is his morals, his morality, where he stands. Like that never falters. He stays true to who he is. Even when he sees people doing bad, he still sees that, they could possibly do some type of good. Which this brings me into Lex Luthor. You got Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor. And to me, I feel like this is the best DC villain we've gotten since Heath Ledger's Joker, as far as like accurate depictions of these villains. Like this is on point with Lex's character, where he's just obsessed with Superman at this point, and he just absolutely hates him. He despises him. He'll do whatever it takes. He'll sacrifice whoever he wants, just so he can bring harm to Superman and bring him down a peg. Because at this point, Lex has done a lot, bro. Like at this point, he has created he was able to set up his own pocket dimension and put all his enemies in this pocket dimension. And it's just crazy to just see like the brilliance of Lex, but also the unhingedness in how that clashes. And I can't wait to see more of Nicholas Hoult in the future. And hopefully this is just a big hope that maybe after chapter 1 we get like a Legion of Doom. I definitely think that this is not the last that we've seen of Lex. Mr. Terrific definitely damn near almost stole the show. He's also incredibly smart, and not only smart, he's got hands too. He does this he has this incredible action sequence, and it makes me hopeful for just not only Mr. Terrific's future, but just black characters in DC in the future. Because I know this chapter they're going to probably just focus on the core characters and whatnot before we kind of branch off into other things, and obviously milestones and the whole rights situation now be kind of like really complicated. Who's to say that we won't see a Static movie in the future? But man, this movie just did everything that it needed to do. Was it perfect? Not quite, because like I said, there are certain characters that I'm just like, okay, I didn't really care for, but I get it. You're here to kind of be a placeholder or just to set up something in the future. But this movie did what it needed to do to set up and establish our Superman and just the tone of where we're going. And now I can kind of see, all right, I can kind of see what type of Batman is going to stand beside this Superman, or what type of Wonder Woman, Flash, etc. They did that. And the dynamic between Lois Lane and Clark itself is probably the strongest I've ever seen in a superhero movie, in my opinion. I can't think of another movie that was stronger than this, and I can't wait to see that relationship grow. And also, I'm pretty sure they're going to save the new suit for Superman 2 and Pa Kent's death for Superman 2, or in the future, or maybe in this version Pa Kent doesn't die or something like that. But I think DC is in good hands with James Gunn. I see the vision. I think people need to just gotta take a step back and just allow these things to come out, and just allow these things to breathe, so we can kind of just see where this is all going to go. Peacemaker is next, and then the next show is going to be Lanterns, and then the next movie is going to be Supergirl, which I'm not going to say, is she or is she in this? I don't know if that's like common knowledge yet, but that's going to be the next thing up, and I'm excited for that. So I'm really looking forward to what DC has in store for whatever comes next. But let me know how you guys feel about this movie in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.